What's up, guys? It's your boy Beaker V2, and we're back with another one here today, guys. We got Christopher Nolan, my first Nolan experience at the movie theaters, and I tell you, man, it was actually a great time at the movies, man. It was a great time, and I got to see the Odyssey, my first ever Christopher Nolan movie ever at the movie theaters. And it's funny because I've been alive. I haven't been alive that long for his, the amount of time he's been making movies. Because the first movie he made was 1998, Following. And that was his first movie. And then, like I said, I wasn't alive to see that movie. I wasn't even thought of yet. And then he makes his first ever movie in 2000, Memento. That was literally, technically you could say Following was like his directorial debut, but Memento was like his real directorial debut. The first movie he ever made, but Following was like his first ever movie that he made. But Memento was like his first movie, 2000. I wasn't alive. Then he made Insomnia, 2002. I wasn't even alive. And then Batman Begins. He makes Batman Begins the first of the Dark Knight trilogy. I was alive because I was only like a couple months old when Batman Begins came out, because it came out in like the summer of 2005. I was only like a couple months old, but yeah, man, I was a small guy back then. And then the next movie he made a year later, he made the 2006 The Prestige. He made that as well. I was like a year old when that came out. And then he made in 2000, then he came out with The Dark Knight in 2008. I was about 3 years old when The Dark Knight came out. So I was about 3 when The Dark Knight came out. And then he came out Inception. I think it was 5 when Inception came out. I don't think I was, like I said, The Dark Knight, I was too young to watch it, because it was, like I said, I was only 3 years old. I was like, I wouldn't be, at 3 years old, I wasn't asking my mom to go to the movie theater, but like, mom, can we go see The Dark Knight? I wasn't really that vocal at 3 years old. So I was, even though, like I said, I could have said, even I would have been an advanced three year old, but I wasn't asking my mom to go see The Dark Knight at the movie theater. I wasn't that, infatuated with movies yet. So Inception, I was 5. I was 5 when that came out. I was a little bit older, a little bit more, a little bit more mature, but still, I wasn't. I just didn't have any thoughts about Inception. I did see a preview of Inception when I was a kid, when I used to watch the Warner Brothers, Entertainment, home entertainment, previews and stuff of other Warner Brothers movies, and it would always like run and stuff and show footage of. But I never really got into it like that. I never, like I said, told my mom to, like, hey, let's go and see Inception. And Inception is one of my favorite movies of all time now. And just, as an adult, I just learned to basically, like, hey, this is one of my favorite movies and stuff, and just go with it, man. So Inception, I wasn't, old enough to see. And then also he came out with The Dark Knight Rises. Now, The Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012. I was like maybe 6 or 7 when that came out. And but the one thing about The Dark Knight Rises, I did watch that as a kid. I did watch it when I was a kid, but I watched it at home. I didn't go to the movie theater to go see it, even though I had a chance to go see it, but I ended up watching it at home with my mom. So yeah, The Dark Knight Rises, I saw it at home, watched it at home with my mom, and I had a great time watching it. Great experience. First time I watched The Dark Knight Rises, watched it at home with my mom, and yeah, we just enjoyed it. We ate some pizza and watched it, and there we go, man. There you go. So yeah, watched The Dark Knight Rises at home, even though I had a chance to watch it at the movie theaters. But yeah, And then the 2 years Christopher Nolan, he takes a break for 2013, doesn't make anything for 2013, but he comes back in 2014 with Interstellar. Now I didn't even know at first glance in 2014. I didn't even know that Interstellar was a Christopher Nolan movie. I thought it was like somebody else made it or something, but it was a Christopher Nolan movie, and I was like, oh, okay. I figured that out much later when I got older, but I was like, I never really thought much about it as a kid, and I was like, oh, we got to see Interstellar from at the movie theaters, and I never got a chance in 2014. I think the 2014 I was mainly like movies that I was wanted to watch. I saw I think I ended up watching the Amazing Spider-Man 2 at the movie theaters. I think I ended up watching Amazing Spider-Man 2 and the Lego movie. I think I watched the Lego movie when that first came out, but I don't remember. I really don't remember watching, Interstellar. I don't remember going like being dead set on going to see Interstellar at the movie theater and stuff like that. But that's pretty much, that was pretty much that. And also, and in 2017, he waited like 3 years. He took a 3 year hiatus or 2 year hiatus, or technically it was 3 years. He took a 3 year hiatus and then dropped Dunkirk. Now, Dunkirk, that came out in 2017. I think it was either 12. I was 12 in 2017. But, I actually just I didn't really think much about Dunkirk. I heard about it, but I was like, I didn't even know about it. I didn't, like I said, didn't ask my mom or dad to go to the movie theater. I was, like I said, 12 years old. I was involved with other stuff, and I didn't go, and I strongly regretted not going to see Dunkirk or Interstellar in the movie theater, because I bet the sound would have been crazy. I mean, the Odyssey, the sound was amazing when I watched it a couple weeks ago, but man, it would, like I said, I bet that sound in Interstellar and Dunkirk would have been insane in the movie theater. But yeah, that was crazy. I was very regretful of not going to see those two movies at the movie theater. And yeah, and then of course one of the three movies from the 2020s that he made, Tenet. I didn't get to watch that at the movie theater, even though, because like I said, Tenet has the unfortunate result of coming out during COVID. Like at the beginning of COVID-19 and the pandemic, so it ended up, instead of it coming out in the theaters, it came out on, like, I think HBO Max or something, or coming out on Max and whatnot. But yeah, it came out on streaming, because that's all the other pandemic movies were coming out around that time, and they came out during the pandemic. The world was shut down from 2020 to like 2022, and a lot of people were just like completely bewildered at the fact that Christopher Nolan just casually dropping Tenet and during the pandemic. And I just I didn't, like I said, I found Tenet interesting, and I started watching a little bit of it, but I still haven't seen the full movie, so I had to watch it and stuff. That's still a Christopher Nolan movie that I still yet to watch, and I'm going to watch it eventually. But yeah, I just never got around watching it. So yeah, and then the most recent Christopher Nolan movie, Oppenheimer, 2023. I was 18 when Oppenheimer dropped. I was 18, and I actually, and this is, and the funny thing is, Oppenheimer came out like summer, same time as Barbie, and they were calling it Barbenheimer, because those were like the two big summer blockbusters of 2023, and they were like making it like a big social event at the movie theater, like go see Oppenheimer, and then you go see Barbie right after, and then you have a fucking discussion, pink and orange. What side are you on? And a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people were saying, like I said, the kids go see Barbie, the adults go see Oppenheimer, and yeah, that's pretty much how they were doing it and setting it up to be. And I was actually pleasantly surprised that I wanted to go see Oppenheimer at the movie theater, but it just didn't happen. I just it just didn't happen. I didn't have my license yet, so I had to wait for somebody to, like I said, go to the movie theater. And like I said, and now obviously I can go now, but back in 2023 it was just like kind of impossible. I had to go with somebody and stuff, and yeah, but I just did. I strongly regret not being able to go see Oppenheimer and relive it. Go see that moment captured, because Oppenheimer was such a great film and it did so well. I just strongly regret what happened where I wasn't able to see it and stuff. But yeah. But now we finally get to the business. The reason why I made this video, my first ever Nolan experience at the movie theater, at the cinema, the Odyssey, man. And dude, I tell you, the movie was amazing. It was very, very, very good. I had a great time just viewing it, and it wasn't even a packed theater too. I went to the movies yesterday to see Spider-Man Brand New Day. That theater was packed. It was a packed house. But when I went to go see the Odyssey, it wasn't even that many people. It was maybe a good few. But I tell you, man, it was. I mean, I tell you, it was just so surreal, man. And I just got to see so many different things. And the Odyssey, I mean, based off of like a book. It's based off of a book by Homer. I forget his name, but he made, like I said, the Odyssey. It's like Greek, dealing with Greek mythology. An ancient Greek warrior named Odysseus, and he has to go, like I said, he goes on this amazing odyssey throughout the lands and stuff, and his wife Penelope and his son Telecamulus, I forget his name, Telecamulus, I forget his name, and then but he's Tom Holland in the movie, but and then also they blend in like I said, the movie Troy from 2004. That's pretty much like the same story as the Odyssey, but different characters like Achilles, but they both have pretty much the same characters in the Odyssey. Agamemnon or Agamemnon. That's how you say his name, Agamemnon. And then you got Menelaus, and then you got Helen of Troy. Not Helen of Troy. She was, and then she was once Helen of Sparta, and that's how the Trojan horse got involved. And they showed that in Troy, where the Spartans and the Greeks, they attacked the Trojan army and stuff, and they attacked the people of Troy, and they sneak into the Trojan horse. And yeah, it's pretty much, the Odyssey is pretty much like very similar to pretty much the same story as Troy, but like I said, Troy has, the only different character in Troy is Achilles. He's not in the Odyssey, but it was very interesting to see the Odyssey in like I said, in the movie theater. And I hate that I didn't get to see it in IMAX, because that's how Christopher Nolan intended the audience to see it in IMAX. He wanted people to watch it in IMAX because he shot the film on IMAX cameras. He shot the film in multiple locations. I was looking at a behind the scenes, and him, talking with the cast and the crew and stuff, and him working with like Matt Damon and stuff like that. And it was just amazing, man. And I will never forget this moment, because Christopher Nolan, he's pretty much the reason that I want to become a filmmaker one day, and I love him very much. And he just really, like I said, been a huge integral part of my childhood, man. Me watching the Batman movies, the Dark Knight trilogy growing up, and just really liking movies in general, man. And I just love him, man. He's my guy, and I love him very much, and I appreciate everything he's done for people, bringing people together through TV screens, man. So thank you guys for watching this video, and all I can say is Christopher Nolan, you are the GOAT, man.